Well, hello everyone, and welcome to AJ108 Criminal Investigation. My name is Tony Farrar, and I am your instructor for this semester. So, this particular lecture is going to be the review of the syllabus. So, we're going to take some time, walk through the entire syllabus. I would also offer up that for week one, right when you get a chance, make sure that you go through the entire orientation module, and you'll see at the end of this lecture, I'll take you to the course canvas on how I basically make each week a module. The very first week is going to be the introduction or the orientation module, so make sure that you go through every single page in there. There's a lot of good information that will help you be successful, along with make sure that you are, of course, viewing this video right now and going through the syllabus as well. And I'll show you where all of that's located in just a few minutes. So let's go ahead and just jump right into our review. So again, this is criminal investigation. The course is AJ108. The section number is 3172. We are online for the semester. My instructor information is here. You can see I am typically located at the Menifee campus. I have my office phone number here, my email. I do subscribe to Twitter. I have a link to the MSJC Criminal Justice Club, their Facebook page, if you are interested in networking with other students that just kind of really like criminal justice, etc. A lot of times we'll do things outside of the classroom, go to a police station, talk to detectives, get different guest speakers, I mean, all kinds of different things. And then finally, I have a link to the career education website, which has all things career ed. So if you're interested in counseling or anything else, that would be a great place for you to take a look at. Okay, so kind of moving on, and we're right in the middle if you're following along. Again, I am on the Menifee campus in the 3000 building. The office number is 3003. When we are on campus, my office hours are typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, but for us, online office hours will be Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And I have a link that I post in the course canvas that we'll look at in just a little bit on how to access my particular office hours and my meeting room. Now, if you need an appointment or you need to meet for any other reason, I am available by appointment because we are mostly online for the spring semester. It will be an appointment via Zoom, so email is the best way to get in touch with me. If you do email me, please do me a favor and make your email subject line look like this example. So I have Farrar AJ108 3172 Criminal Investigation. And the reason for this is the fact that I teach several classes during the semester, and a lot of students are in multiple classes, so the best way for me to figure out which course you're in without having to try to search every class is if you help me out and put this in the subject line of the email. It will expedite me knowing who you are and being able to get whatever information that you need back to you in a more timely manner. Also, if you do email me, please make sure that your email comes from your college MSJC email, not your personal email account. Now, if you are required to submit a written assignment in Canvas this semester, and you will be, please do me a favor and submit it in Microsoft Word. If you send a document in another word processing format like WordPerfect or through Google Docs or Pages, there's a chance that I won't be able to open it. If I can't open it, I can't read it. If I can't read it, I can't grade it. If I can't grade it, then you don't get a grade for it. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use Google Docs. My suggestion would be, if that's what you use, the document itself needs to be separate. You can't send it through Google Docs. So make the document an attachment, convert it to a PDF format, and then upload it into Canvas. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a little bit. But Microsoft Word is the best. But if you PDF any document, and you upload it directly, the system should be able to read it, okay? So any help you can give me there would be greatly appreciated. Please note that the syllabus is a living document and subject to change during the semester. If I do make a change, and I typically don't. I don't like to make changes, but if I do, for whatever reason, I will notify you right away via email or announcement through Canvas. So with that being said, please make sure that you set up your computer or whatever other electronic device, your phone, your tablet, etc. Make sure you set that up so you can receive those announcements in a timely manner. All assignments and due dates are in this particular syllabus, and therefore it is your responsibility to read and follow them. Please note it's not my responsibility to remind you of test quizzes or due dates that are contained within the syllabus. Now, with that being said, I am going to remind you. I'll send you a reminder at the beginning of the week, maybe one in the middle and one at the end of the week. But even though I'm doing that, remember, at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to make sure that you know when assignments are due, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of that in just a second. So we're at the top of the next page talking about course description. So what is this class? Well, this course addresses, the techniques, procedures, and even the ethical issues in the investigation of crime and evidence. And the focus is on kind of the organization of the investigative process. Crime scene searches, interview and interrogation techniques, surveillance, sources of intelligence and information, suspect ID, scientific test analysis, and finally, and very, very important, right, the role of the investigator in this whole thing and the role of the investigator in the trial process. Because once you're done doing all this cool crime scene stuff and you write your report, you're going to have to go to court. And that's a really important piece of the investigative process. Okay, so next we have the program learning outcomes, the course learning outcomes, and the course learning objectives. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of these individually. I will let you review them at your leisure, but just know these are our criminal justice and corrections program outcomes, okay? Things we want you to be able to do. These are the course learning outcomes. And then these are the course learning objectives, okay? All right, and you can look at all those. Next will be the textbook. So we have criminal investigation. It's the 12th edition. So here's my pitch on the textbook, everyone. And I do have a lot of students that ask me all the time, hey, professor, do I need the textbook? Well, understand that I break the video lectures that I do for this particular course into either a 60-minute lecture, just like you would get in class, or 2 30-minutes. So it typically isn't longer than 60. It might be broken up into 2. It just depends to kind of, separate it out. But anyway, so it's going to be just like you're in class watching a video lecture. But even doing that, it really is difficult for me to incorporate all of the information in a 60-minute time period, right? Everything in each chapter, to be able to cover everything in detail. So having the textbook will allow you to fill in the gaps, right? It will allow you to kind of apply what you're learning through some examples that are listed in the textbook, even though I'm going to give you some examples in the lecture. And it will most importantly help add context to a lot of the things that we're talking about. There's a lot of definitions and procedures and different things like that. So that's my pitch for the textbook. I would highly recommend it, whether it's the e-version, the loose leaf version, which is extremely, it's lesser expensive, right? It's not that much you have to have a binder to put it in, so it's kind of a loose leaf, or the textbook itself. So there you have my pitch for the textbook. Next, we have the penal code. So the penal code is not the primary textbook, but we are going to refer to this book from time to time. If you don't have a copy, that's okay. You can access the information online, and I have a link to a website called legalinfo.gov where all of the California codes are at. Now, keep in mind that all laws in California they're statutory, right? They're written. And because of that, when they're written, they're put into a book. All the penal laws are put into a book, right? That's why they call it the penal code. It's the code of penal law. So it's got all of the California codes in it. And if you've never seen what one looks like, it's usually a really fat blue book that says, California Penal Code. And then, every state has their own, right? So Texas will have a penal code. Yeah. So just so as an example. So A lot of them are somewhat similar, but remember, laws are different, right, from state to state. And so might be some of the procedures and the investigative things that you have to follow. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so with all that said, how do I check into the course? And as I said earlier, I break the course up into weekly modules. Typically, my classes will open on a Monday at 8 a.m. and close the following Sunday at 11 p.m. And that's a weekly module. Now, because this year starts off with Monday being a holiday, we're going to open on Tuesday. But every other week is going to open on Monday, okay? So officially, our class will open on Tuesday the 18th, and here we are right here if you're following along, because Monday's a holiday. What I need you to do is make sure that you check in to the class using the discussion board check-in. This is all in the orientation introduction module. So make sure that you go through the entire introduction orientation module in its entirety. Make sure that you read the syllabus in its entirety, okay? But anyway, as you're going through this introduction, you're going to run across the check-in. That's discussion board number 1. This is the first part of your official check-in. And also, as part of the check-in, you'll need to complete a short 10-question syllabus quiz. So, we open on Tuesday the 18th at 8 a.m. The module closes on the 23rd at 11 p.m. So you have between the 18th and the 23rd to complete the course check-in, right? The syllabus quiz and the discussion board check-in, and going through the orientation module. Now, please note that failure to complete the check-in process will result in you being dropped from the class. And the reason for that isn't because I'm trying to be mean. It's because that typically there is a wait list, and if you don't check in, unfortunately, you will be dropped from the class to make room for another student. So please keep track of the due dates. It's very, very important that you do that. Okay, some course guidelines. So this is a somewhat fast-paced class with a lot of reading and information that I'm going to give to you weekly. And because of that, you need to keep up with the reading, okay? Don't just rely on the videos or the PowerPoint lectures to get you through the class. Some of the legal terms may be difficult at first to understand because you don't know them, right? Therefore, you need to read the textbook, right? Another pitch for the textbook. Read those chapters carefully and thoroughly to fully understand them, and also to help add some context, right? Really important to the subject matter. Not just learning the definition, but how it applies to what we're talking about. Now, in some cases, you might have to look up a word or a term on the internet, penal code, or in a law dictionary. But at the end of the day, if you have a problem with any concept at all, please let me know, and I will discuss it in our general discussion board area called the Donut Shop. I know, go figure, but it is a pretty cool name. So when we get done with this video lecture, I'll take you into the course canvas and I'll show you where the general discussion board area is. And then there's a secondary discussion area just for students called the squad car, but more to come on that. So this isn't a super easy class, and it's going to require a lot of work on your part to do well. However, this class can be extremely rewarding from all of the information and knowledge that you're going to gain about criminal investigation. So with that being said, what are some course expectations? Well, yes, you're going to participate and complete a variety of activities that will hopefully achieve those learning objectives that we looked at earlier in the syllabus, right? But just a couple of ones to mention, right? Number one, read the required materials, review the PowerPoints, the lecture notes, read the articles, and read the chapter in your textbook. Next, watch the weekly videos relating to the chapter, the video lecture, any other videos located in the introductory portion of each module, any case study video that I throw in there. Next, participate in what I call thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board, and we'll talk more about those in a minute. Complete the online matching exercise. So this is a non-graded exercise focused on key terms because there are so many key terms. And basically there'll be a term on one side and a definition on the other, and you're going to match them up. And this will help you learn the different terminology as it relates to criminal investigation. And that's really important because it helps you add context to a lot of things. So again, non-graded, you can take it as many times as you want. Next would be to complete the online and timed quizzes, complete the online and timed exams, complete your case study, and complete the midterm writing assignment. And we'll talk a little bit more about those as we go further into this video. Now, here we are at the bottom of the page if you're still following along. Note that failure to participate in the discussion boards, missing quizzes or exams, or failing to turn in any other assignments, or missing a combination of these activities may cause you to be dropped from the class. So it's very, very important, right, that you do your work. And another thing just to kind of throw out there is that typically at the end of every semester, I have about 5% of the class that emails me on the last day and says, what can I do? I'm 2 points away from a B. I'm 2 points away from an A. You understand that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the grade book and I'm going to look to see, did you do all your assignments? And sometimes we miss one here and there, and I understand that. Did you do any of the extra credit? There's a built-in extra credit assignment in the course Canvas. Did you do any of the other optional extra credit? Because a couple of times during the semester, I'll feed you some additional extra credit. Did you do the case study? So if you didn't do any of that other work, it's very hard for me to justify to just make something up to give you points, right? So that's the importance. That's another reason for making sure that you at least get your assignments turned in. Okay, so hopefully that kind of makes sense to everybody. All right, during the semester, we will also have some opportunities to meet online via Zoom. Okay, right now our course is what we call asynchronous, which means that you have to get assignments and things done between basically that Monday and the following Sunday. Every once in a while, we'll do a synchronous meeting, the same as office hours. Just like I have office hours via Zoom every Wednesday night from 6 to 7, a couple of times during the semester, we'll meet via online. It won't be mandatory, but this will be another opportunity for you to ask questions, exchange information, or we'll have a special Zoom meeting, if you will, to cover the midterm writing assignment, because a lot of people stress out over that. Don't stress out over that. There's more to come on that, and I'll show you where that module is. Okay. So with all of that said, how do I know, or how would you know, that you're ready for an online class? Well, you've already read about the course expectations, but you need, if you need to make sure that you understand what is expected of you, there's a couple of links I put in here to help you. The first is to the MSJC online learning page. And the second is to that same page, but a different area. And it's an area where they have a lot of video tutorials and some other information, like how to navigate through Canvas, how to upload an assignment, how to use Canvas Studio to make a video, all of these cool things that if you don't know how, you'll be able to go there and learn how to do that. Kind of along the same lines, technology responsibility. Note that you are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection independent of the college. So basically, you need to plan your coursework to be able to accommodate some type of issue or problem, right? Now, if, the college website goes down and Canvas doesn't work and things, we'll make sure that you have plenty of time to get assignments turned in, and we'll make it all work out. What I'm asking you to do is have a backup plan for your stuff. What happens if your computer goes down? Do you have a backup plan? That way you don't fall behind. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. To help you, I've listed some of the kind of more major components, if you will, as it relates to Canvas. Some areas that I think you should really kind of be familiar with. And first of all, just make sure that you have whatever electronic device that you're using, your phone, your iPad, your notepad, your computer, etc. Make sure you have that set up to be able to receive those announcements or emails as I send them out. But the first one would be modules. because this is where your weekly assignments are. And to help, I'm going to title each module so you know exactly which week that information is for. So an example would be Module 1 will be titled Unit 1 or Week 1. And therefore, Unit 1 will contain all of the assignments needed to complete Week 1, right? And the same with Week 2 and 3, etc. And each unit or module will contain the video lectures, the PowerPoints, the articles, the other videos, links to videos, exams, quizzes, other guides, discussion boards, etc. And the goal to do it this way, right, to put everything in these weekly modules, is to make it easier for you to find everything because you know it's all there. Now, with that being said, there's a couple of modules that are kind of on their own, all right? And what I'm talking about would be like your midterm essay. That's a separate module. It's not in your weekly modules. It stands alone. Your case study is in a separate module. But everything else, or in the extra credit, is in a separate module. So those three things have their own little modules. And I'll show you what they look like in just a minute, okay? But everything else is built into those weeks, so you know exactly where to find it. Discussions, this is where group discussions are going to occur. Announcements. And again, real quick for discussions, we'll talk more about discussion boards, but note that discussions, there are two discussion boards. There's the squad car, which is student to student, as I said. There's the donut shop, which is everybody can see. Announcements, this is where you're going to find the announcements for anything that might be relevant that I'm going to send out. There might be a change to a quiz. Maybe one of the questions was misworded or something didn't quite copy over and you can't see it, or whatever the issue is. Okay, I might send out an announcement on that. And sometimes little things like that, little quirks happen. So that's why it's important that you're able to receive those announcements, all right? Or maybe a job fair or an actual job opening at some law enforcement organization, etc. A guest speaker via Zoom this semester, or anything like that. Maybe an extra credit project that's time sensitive and I'm going to send it out. So these are all things that would fall under the announcement area. Gradebook, that one's pretty simple. That's where your grades are. Extra credit, this is its own module titled extra credit, and this is where you can find the extra credit assignment that's built into the course already. Just note that sometimes these extra credit assignments are date specific, okay? So make sure that you check when the extra credit assignment opens and perhaps when it closes. All right, so with all of that, how are we going to learn all of this stuff? Well, we've got the lectures and the news articles, visual aids, PowerPoints, the video lectures, class participation via discussions, the written assignment, the quizzes, the exams, the non-graded assessment. All of that kind of falls into place to help us learn. And then also note that you're always welcome to attend a guest speaker that might be appearing in any one of my other courses. So if we had face-to-face classes this semester, even if it was a face-to-face class and you're in an online course, I would still send something out to you because maybe you would want to come on campus one day and see this particular person speak, right? So because we're virtual and we're online this semester with the majority of courses, more than likely it will be via Zoom, but the same thing applies. If I have a guest speaker in a different class, I'll send it out along with the link, and you can pop in there if you want to watch that person's presentation, etc. If you need any type of assistance, any type of academic support at all, please email me, or academic support is available to all students at the Learning Resource Center at MSJC or through the help desk, and all of this is online. Okay, so now what about conduct online, because we are going to be online for this particular semester. So the Student Code of Conduct is available in the MSJC catalog. I would encourage you to read it if you have time. If you don't have a catalog, you can access it online. Really what I'm asking you to do is understand something that we call netiquette. It's kind of the network etiquette or the etiquette of cyberspace, kind of a set of rules, right, for how do we behave online, etc. And Virginia Shea has defined some of these issues in a book that she calls Netiquette. And I have here kind of a a brief summary, a link to a brief summary of her core rules. It's not going to kind of solve all of your problem, but it does provide some basic principles on how to do online learning as far as discussion boards, etc. And it is pretty informative. My pitch to you really is just to understand that discussions are just that. Thank goodness we're all different, because that's what makes the world go round. It would be a boring world if we were all the same, but we're all different. We have different opinions, and that's how we learn, by hearing what others have to say, reading what others have to say, and listening or reading their perspective and then kind of thinking about it. It doesn't mean that you have to agree, but we all do need to understand that we all want everybody to be welcome, to be able to participate, etc. So let's all be professional in our conduct as it relates to discussion boards. And of course, we're all adults, so enough said about that. All right, a couple of cool websites here if you need it. Cornell Law, the Supreme Court. But I wanted to move into exams and quizzes. So note that the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook, lecture, PowerPoint, the video lecture, or any designated article, brochure, etc. that I post, right? And each week you're going to have a reading assignment, a video lecture based on the corresponding chapter, a 10-question quiz covering the corresponding chapter, and either a discussion topic or a question, okay? You may even have a little short exercise. So, and you'll see those when you go in there. So you have a discussion board will be the first thing, and after it'll be followed by a little exercise that I want you to do. And all of those are graded, okay? In addition, you're going to have 3 chapter exams, a midterm writing assignment, and a case study. And again, don't forget, in each module, there's going to be that key term, right? That matching exercise. And you can take that as many times as needed. It's non-graded, etc. Okay, so discussions, as I mentioned earlier, discussion boards are typically what I like to say reflective in nature, right? So therefore, they're kind of meant to make you think about something and perhaps maybe research it and then consider other points of view and perspectives, and then you provide the response. So you're going to have a total of 14 chapter discussion boards and 1 course check-in, okay? So that's going to be a total of 15, right? So you have a total of 14 chapter discussion boards and 1 check-in discussion board. And each discussion is worth up to 10 points. Now, when responding to discussion boards, make sure you read the information or watch the corresponding video, etc., and then respond with a complete, well thought out response. Now, you can submit your discussions in one of 2 ways or formats. One can be the basic way, which would be written. You can post a reply to the discussion or your discussion post, right? Or you can do it via video through Canvas Studio. Just make sure that I have access to the video or the link to the video, all right? And a lot of students like the video versus writing, but it's up to you. You can pick. Now, if you're going to do the writing part, for full point credit, your response must be at least 5 sentences in length, okay? Don't simply copy a response from another student's post. The more focused and thought out the response, the more points you're going to receive. Don't just respond with, I agree, tell me what you think. Now, you can respond with, I agree, if you're just responding to another student. They post, and then you respond, hey, I agree, or you can add something, or hey, I don't agree, what about this? You know what I mean? That's how we get the discussion going, thus the name discussion board, right? So it's important that you do respond back and forth to each other, but your initial post, all right, if it's the text format, it needs to be at least 5 sentences in length. Okay, so now let's move on to the case study. Now this is also in your course Canvas, and I'll show you where it's at, but your case for this semester is going to be the Golden State Killer. I give you some information about it. Here's what I want you to research. So I'm giving you the questions, and you can submit this assignment in one of 3 formats. You can write it, and the directions are here. You can do a PowerPoint, and the directions are here, or you can do a video. So you have your choice, okay? If you do a video, okay, you can do it via Canvas Studio, or you can do it via YouTube and upload the link. Just make sure that I have access to the video or the link, All right, it's really important. But just note, in any format, written, PowerPoint, video, you must address the questions. You need to hit these questions, okay? Your extra credit assignment that's built into the course, it's going to be on the Sam Shepard murder case. Here's some information about it. And in your course Canvas, there's actually a video. So same with up here. There's a video for this one as well. But in the syllabus, I didn't put the video links in. It's in your Canvas. Anyway, here's the questions I want you to research. And you can also submit this one in those 3 formats, just like I described. You can write it, you can do a PowerPoint, or you can do a video. Okay? Your extra credit is worth 15 points. Now, creativity for the PowerPoint is really important, okay? But these are the case study and the extra credit. Okay, so just kind of summarizing before we move on and we get into the course Canvas and look at the schedule, okay? Note, again, this course follows the weekly modular formula. So, all lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussion boards, etc., they're going to be posted and available in those weekly modules on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. All assignments are due in by 11 p.m. on the following Sunday night. So for example, if it wasn't a holiday, the course would open Monday. But for this first week, it's going to be Tuesday the 18th at 8 a.m. because Monday's a holiday. You'll have until Sunday the 23rd at 11 p.m. to do the week 1 orientation module, right? That means go through the introduction orientation, all the pages, read the syllabus, watch the video review of the syllabus, do the discussion board, and do the syllabus quiz. That's week 1. Now, as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments because you have 6 days to complete each of the weekly assignments. Therefore, it really is up to you to get the work done. Now, I know stuff happens. That stuff that I'm talking about, emergencies, etc., everything will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. I know there's jury duty, military deployment, medical stuff. I get all that, okay? So we'll take each one of those things kind of on a case-by-case basis. Please keep in mind, again, it's your responsibility to make time for completing the assignments. Don't wait until the last minute. And while I will do my best to remind you of due dates and other information, ultimately it is your responsibility. So a couple of helpful hints before we get into the final part of the syllabus. There are really 3 main things that I see with online students who experience problems. First is the inability to keep track of due dates. So you need to be able to kind of self-regulate, right? Meaning keep close track of assignment due dates and don't wait till the last minute to do your stuff because that's when things happen. Second, thinking that because there are so many little quizzes and exercises and discussion boards that missing a few won't matter. Well, the reality is it does, because missing assignments, it adds up quickly, and before you know it, you're behind. And then before you know it, you're the 5% that emails me on the last day of class asking me to come up with some assignment to give you some points when you could have done all the other stuff, right? So it doesn't mean that I won't help out. It doesn't mean that I won't round up all that other kind of cool stuff, but I will jump into your grade book and look and see what you've done. So just understand that. And then finally, set up your electronic device to get the notifications. Those are really, really important. Okay, so here is the grading scale, and here are your assignments. And you can see that there are 3 exams, okay? You can see the discussion boards. So there's 14, and then your check-in, so it's 15. There's your syllabus quiz check-in, the midterm paper, your chapter quizzes. Sorry about that tweedle in the background there. That's my Ring doorbell for those of you that are interested in security. There's the case study. There's the chapter exercises. These are graded. They're fun little cool exercises, but you are expected to do them. for a total of 610 points. And then again, I have some extra credit built in. Here's some important dates for you to go over. I won't spend the time going through all of these. Note that if there's any type of accommodation or anything that I can do to make you more successful in the course, please let me know, okay? Your written paper is going to be this case right here. It's the Mincy versus Arizona case. Here are the questions I want you to answer. Here are the instructions, and this is all built into your course Canvas as well. Note that there's a separate module again for your midterm writing assignment that shows you how to structure the paper, shows you how to do a reference page, shows you how to cite your references, etc. So that's there, and I'll show you where it is in just about 2 minutes. Plagiarism. We all know what that is. Remember that copying work from a paper, a book, an article, anything like that without acknowledging the source is technically plagiarism. Copying and changing just a couple of words is still plagiarism. So, the best rule of thumb is if you didn't think of it yourself or it's not common knowledge, you need to cite it. If in doubt, cite it. Okay, so enough said on that, and I'll let you walk through this. So here's the schedule. So it's the weekly format. Week 1 is our course orientation. It's the introduction module, right? And this is what we're going to do in week 1. We're going to go through the orientation module. We're going to read the syllabus. We're going to go through this. We're going to watch this video. We're going to do the discussion board check-in, and we're going to take the syllabus quiz. Week 2, and you'll see that they're very similar for consistency. Okay, week 2, chapter 1. Okay, this is what we're kind of doing right here. And actually, I found an error. This is one thing that's cool about doing this live. There we go. So chapter 1 is going to be criminal investigation. Okay, an overview. You have the non-graded matching exercise. You have your quiz and a discussion. Okay, and you'll see that they're all the same. Here you can see in week 3, we've got the key term exercise, the quiz, the discussion, but you have a crime scene sketching exercise. So it's all listed here. And then when you get down to week 6, here we go. I wanted to show you where your first actual chapter test is. So you have your video lecture, you have the matching exercise for key terms, you have your chapter 5 quiz, because you're going to have a quiz to learn this stuff in chapter 5. Then here's your first exam, chapters 1 through 5. So you're going to have a short test and kind of a longer test with a discussion question. And they're all very similar, right? To make it really easy for you to kind of follow along. All right. So this isn't published yet, but here's what the criminal investigation homepage looks like when you log in. This is what you should see. Okay. And you can go through here. There's a couple of videos. It's got all the objectives again listed in here for you. Here's my information. Email, office hours for online, 6 to 7 p.m. Here's the link for the office hours. Okay. You can go back up here and you can click start here, and it will take you to the first part of the introduction or orientation. There's a quick little video, Go Boise State, and some more information. Here's a cool class that you should probably take if you're interested in forensics. Okay, we'll come all the way down. And then you can basically click through. This is the introduction, little information about me. You can go to the bottom right, you can click, and that'll take you all the way through. Now, here is your kind of navigation bar. If you go to modules, you can see the modular view. All right? Here's the introduction I was talking about. We were just clicking through these pages. In here, you'll see the syllabus, and there's also the syllabus here. Either one of these will get you there. There's the course check-in discussion and the syllabus quiz. So you can see how all of these are in here. I have a separate module for here's how you use Zoom, a separate module for the Criminal Justice Club, a module for cool websites. So if you're interested in forensics, there's some cool websites that you can go to. So all of these are kind of built in for you. You have a module for the Bill of Rights, different videos, the court systems. And then I put a couple of other things in here. You have a crime scene investigation manual. Then you have a search warrant guide. This is just for information purposes, okay? Now, here is your midterm writing assignment module. Here's the video lecture I was talking about. If you don't want to hear me talk, here's the PowerPoint. Here's your midterm writing assignment. Here's how you upload your paper. And I need to update the Administration of Justice tutor. Typically, we have one every semester. I just need to confirm that the same person is doing it again. And then I'll put that in there. Here's your case study module. And again, when I talked about the videos are built in, so here's your case study, gives you information, and then there's videos for you to watch. And then there's the instructions, the same as in your syllabus, but I wanted you to be able to see that there are videos built in. Here's your extra credit assignment, the Sam Shepard case. This is the other extra credit area. As I find extra credit that I want to send out, I will send it out and you will upload it into this area. And I'll give you a reminder when I send things out. Don't take it upon yourself to do something for extra credit and submit it. This, again, it's something that I will send out to all of you, okay? Here's what a weekly module looks like with stuff in it, all right? So this is week 2, and again, you can see it's all kind of broken down. You can page through. Here's the overview of the module, so you're going to go through that. Here's the introduction. I want you to watch this video. Here's the PowerPoint. It's not the video lecture, it's just the PowerPoint, so if you want to study the slides. Here's the video lecture. It's a 2-parter, 2 30-minute segments basically. Here's the matching exercise, the non-graded exercise. Here's your quiz. And here's your discussion board. Okay, and there's a video there to go with it. And then new for this semester, for some of you, here's an exercise that you're going to do. This is a fingerprint exercise, and there's information that I want you to read and do. And then as far as discussion response, the way I used to do this is I would basically respond to each student with, text about their discussion post. Instead, what I'm going to do, and this seemed to be, a lot of students like this better, is I would go through and I would read all the discussion posts and I would grade them. And then I would kind of do like a highlight video on here's what a lot of people said, here's the answer to this, here's what you should be thinking about. And I would post a video, and you could even comment on the video if you want. So, at the end of the week, I would post this response video and you could go in there and look at the answer to the discussion, etc. So this was kind of cool, something a little bit different, and I think you'll like it. And then finally, you're done with the unit. So you're done with this particular chapter 1. I also have a couple of other websites here. OIAs, which is good for case studies, Cornell Law, and legal information and codes. All right, I know it's a lot to cover. I want to take just a few more minutes. I talked about discussions. Now, there's a couple of discussions. Again, this is the module view, so you can go to discussions in your navigation bar. You can click on Donut Shop. This is the general discussion board area, and you can see I'm subscribed to this, so if you post something, I'll see it, and so will other students. And other students can answer the question too. Hey, I forgot where this is at. Where can I find it? And then another student might pop on and say, hey, go here. So this is the general area. Then we have what I call the squad car. And this is for student-to-student communication. I don't subscribe to this one. This is just for you guys, okay, to kind of talk about whatever it is that you're going to talk about. Now, you can always go to these links here on the outside, as you saw. You can go to the Donut Shop there. So you don't have to use these. You can go to the syllabus, you can go to modules, you can start here, you can go to the Donut Shop. But I'm really hoping that this kind of at least shows you some of the different areas and helps you kind of navigate your way through this particular course. So again, just to kind of wrap things up, make sure that you are reading the syllabus in its entirety, watching this video in its entirety, going through the entire introduction or the orientation module. And in there is your check-in, which is 2 parts, right? It is the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. All right, so that'll wrap it up. I look forward to have a great semester with all of you. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be really awesome. So until we talk again.